Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics here at the Hindu with me, Nistula Hebbar, where we unpack the news making the headlines in domestic politics. Now, the Supreme Court was more than active this week and laid to rest two big cases with regard to governments in Delhi and Maharashtra on control over the officer cadre in Delhi and on government formation of the NDA government in Maharashtra. In both cases, the role of the governor or lieutenant governor in the case of Delhi came in for criticism. And while in Maharashtra, at least, the status quo was not disturbed as far as the government was concerned, and the NDA government looks to continue, important red lines for the constitutional post of governor and speaker have been laid down for the future. As you all know, I tape the episodes of Talking Politics on Friday. And this weekend, we are looking at the results of the Karnataka elections. So I will leave that to the carpet bombing of coverage that we have now gotten used to from the media. And this is going to continue for 2-3 days if I know how things go. And so, therefore, the episode this week will instead focus on a state which is to go into assembly polls later this year and where political activity has picked up in a big way. I'm speaking of Rajasthan and more specifically the Congress party and its ongoing crisis over the Ashok Gehlot versus Sachin Pilot rivalry. So, as always, with all sorts of complicated issues, we will look at exactly what happened in terms of events that happened last week. So, on Thursday, on May 11th, the former Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan, former PCC President, Sachin Pilot embarked on a 5-day Jan Sangharsh Yatra. This was after he had last month led a day-long fast targeting his own party's government in the state for inaction in alleged cases of corruption dating from the time that the BJP ruled Rajasthan under former Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje. Now, the decision to hold the Yatra has its own immediate backstory. Mr. Pilot, during his fast, has had accused Mr. Gehlot of being soft on Vasundhara Raje's government's acts of omission and commission for reasons of his own. The accusations had hit a nerve, and Mr. Ashok Gehlot, at a public program in Dholpur, made an extraordinary declaration that he had managed to save his government in 2020 in the face of a rebellion that was led by Sachin Pilot and a few MLAs loyal to him, only because BJP leaders Vasundhara Raje and Kailash Meghwal refused to be party to efforts to topple a democratically elected government. Here he was alluding to whispers that were happening even in 2020, where all sorts of taped conversations, phone conversations which had been taped had come out, where it was shown that the BJP was, if not actively colluding, then at least hugely encouraging Mr. Pilot to kind of rebel against his own party's government in the state, and that Vasundhara Raje was extremely silent during that period, and that she basically did not want the entry of Mr. Pilot and therefore had alerted Mr. Gehlot that this kind of a thing was going on. These were just whispers, they were just innuendos that were going on. But Mr. Gehlot saying all of this created a difficult situation for Ms. Raje, thereby also signaling to his own people that he was not soft on Vasundhara Raje. He said it in the Vasundhara Raje Pakat Borough of Dholpur. She's the Maharani of Dholpur and has fought elections from that area. And therefore, it added a piquant touch to the proceedings. Now, it was clear that both Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot were playing a no-holds-barred game, and by damning by praise, which is what Mr. Gehlot did with regard to Ms. Raje, he was trying to hit out at Sachin Pilot as a traitor to the Congress and also at Vasundhara Raje as his likely replacement. Plainly speaking, he targeted Sachin Pilot as a dissenter and Vasundhara Raje as someone who did not follow her own party line when it came to intrigues. So obviously this hit Vasundhara Raje also hard, and she was furious, and she really issued a denial stating that she had nothing to do with either Sachin Pilot or Mr. Gehlot or Mr. Pilot's rebellion or warning Mr. Gehlot, etc. And she said that Ashok Gehlot was an adversary of long standing and that she had never been humiliated in her life by anybody as much as Ashok Gehlot had done. No. Now, Sachin Pilot in this situation, of course, was deeply happy because he had managed to hit a nerve with Ashok Gehlot. So he basically said that, oh, this means that if Mr. Gehlot managed to save his government with the help of Vasundhara Raje, that means his leader is actually Vasundhara Raje and not former Congress President Sonia Gandhi. Now, all this to and fro has now culminated in what promises to be a showdown over the yatra. It's going to be 5 days of Sachin Pilot. You know, this yatra is over 5 days. It's going to go from Ajmer to Jaipur, and every day Sachin Pilot is expected to speak out against his own party's government in the state, almost daring the Congress party to take action against him and sack him from the party. We have done many episodes on Rajasthan Congress and specifically the tussle between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. And in the last one that I did, I had posed this question because frankly it puzzled me too, looking at the activities of Sachin Pilot, that what exactly is Sachin Pilot's endgame? Now, that question somehow seems to be heading to a reckoning. It now seems that Sachin Pilot has figured out a way forward. Denied the Chief Minister's chair in 2018, he rebelled against the Congress in 2020, and a combination of not having enough MLAs to split the party and persuasion by the Congress High Command that he would be given his due made him return to the party fold. Now, he has been waiting for the Congress High Command to fulfill that assurance since. Now, when polls for electing a new AICC president were announced, it was thought that the solution to the Rajasthan conundrum could also be at hand, that of making Ashok Gehlot AICC president and Sachin Pilot the chief minister of Rajasthan. Gehlot got a majority of MLAs to protest against the move. These MLAs basically said they refused to appear at a legislature party meeting called by party observers like Ajay Makan and now AICC President Mallikarjun Kharge. They said that Sachin Pilot was a traitor in terms of the Congress party and they did not accept his leadership of the government. And basically, it was highly humiliating for the party high command, especially current Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who was, as I said, an observer for this aborted transition. Now, because of all of this, Sachin Pilot was left out in the cold, and now with this yatra, he seems to have signaled that he is ready to make the next move. Those in the know say that this next move could well be the floating of his own new party, gathering some vote share in the assembly polls, and later to take a call on whether to join the BJP or continue in his own way. For this, he wants the Congress to sack him from the party because that would give him a lot of sympathy among his supporters, a kind of martyrdom, and help his narrative as the aggrieved party who was promised one thing and then denied it because the Congress High Command just could not deliver on its promise. At the time of taping this episode, AICC in charge of the state, Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa, had called a meeting with senior leaders from Rajasthan Congress to ponder over the way forward, whether to recommend to Mr. Kharge that Pilot be removed from the party or not. Now, one argument is that, as I said earlier, that removing him or sacking him would be making him a martyr, getting the narrative on his side, some sympathy on his side, and sympathy really works with the voters, especially in our country. And the other argument is that this indiscipline of protesting against the government led by your own party cannot go unpunished. Now, this week is likely to see some sort of a decision in that regard. The BJP on its part is waiting and watching. A senior leader told me, a senior leader of the BJP basically told me that to his mind, Sachin Pilot has no other option than to float his own party since Ashok Gehlot is very well entrenched, and after he humiliated the Congress High Command, when they try to replace him with Sachin Pilot, the party will take no chances with regard to diminishing his status in the state. Anyway, there are very few months left for the assembly elections there. Assembly elections would be towards the end of this year, so barely like 4 or 5 months. So it doesn't really make sense. And now the only decision it seems that the Congress party needs to take is whether or not they're going to sack Sachin Pilot, and Sachin Pilot needs to decide whether or not what he's going to be doing in terms of the assembly elections. So we are therefore on the cusp of big changes in Rajasthan politics, and the next few months to the election promise much action. Now we will be there to track it as and when. For now though, it's goodbye. Do press the subscriber and like button on the Hindu's YouTube channel if you like this video and want more of the same. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.